we get some validations on here that make this model a little more reliable, but I wanna take some time to actually go ahead and calculate the pace here. And one way to do that is with a callback, and we're going to use before, not before create, but before save. And basically, what we want to do is just take the, so if there is a distance and a duration, what we'll do is calculate the pace based on the unit, and that will get saved to this column here under calculated pace. So a few things I want to clarify. This application, I'm going to focus on the imperial system because I'm in the US. So regardless of what you put for unit, so if you say I ran 800 meters, for example, I'm going to save that as miles per or minutes per mile. That's just a design choice I'm making here. If this application were anything like Strava, on the user table, you could have like a preference, like preferred units, and the user could say like, okay, well, I actually would rather have my unit saved as kilometers, and then we would calculate the pace based on the user's preference. But I'm gonna keep it simple here, and I'm also biased because I'm in the US and I'm used to minutes per mile. That's just how I think. So for now, we'll do it like that, but I just want to point that out. So I'm going to kind of jump back and forth between writing a test and kind of building the logic. Let's just kind of get something going here. So should calculated pace, do. So let's see here. I'm going to do one that I can kind of figure out off the top of my head. So activity distance, let's say it is 10. And we'll do unit. I think we can do miles, and I'm getting that from, where am I getting that from? Right here. So miles and activity dot duration. Now remember, this is going to be in seconds, and we're going to have to account for that later when we're submitting the form. So let's say that somebody they did 10 miles in an hour, which I know is 6-minute miles. So we want to do 60 times 60, which let's just triple check here what that is. So 3,600 seconds. So, okay, so we have all that. And then if we do activity.save, we should assert that the pace is, and actually I'm just going to do this real quick in here so I have like a better sense of what's going to happen. 360, right? So that's 360 seconds per mile, and 360 seconds divided by 60 is 6-minute miles. Okay, so we want to assert that the activity, or assert equal 360, and it might even be, because it's a decimal, it might actually add 2 zeros at the end of it. Well, I'll just do this for now. So assert equal 360 activity, and let's reload it to make sure it's saved. And then calculated pace. So let's clear this out. I know this test is going to fail because we haven't actually created the logic for this, but let's just see if this works. So I'm going to do Rails test models activity, and 45 is the test we actually care about. And as expected, we got a failing test, but this is good because this will guide us until we get something to work. So how do we want to do this? Well, first thing we probably want to do is before save or before, yeah, before save. If we did before create, this would only happen when we're creating an activity, but then if we went and updated it again, it wouldn't take effect. So let's just do before create because that's shared across, or sorry, before save because that's shared between creating and updating an object. So before save, let's just do, I can be careful here because we have a column called calculated pace. So if I did this, I think it would throw an error because calculated pace is actually kind of a special reserved word in this case, but I think I can do, let's just do calculate pace right there. Now this doesn't exist yet, we have to actually make that. So let's just do calculate pace, and then what we want to do is, and actually I think we want to do before save, I think we want to do a conditional because we don't want to calculate the pace if like they didn't have a duration, a unit, and a distance. I'm trying to, like, if they're, for example, I'll go back to the yoga example. So if they were doing yoga, like there's no pace for yoga. So let me just see here. Conditional callbacks. So I wonder if I could just do if unit, I honestly don't know if this is gonna work. I feel like it's not. I'm trying to see like if the unit, well, you know what we'll do? Let's not worry about making it look beautiful. Let's just do if self dot unit present and self, oh, I keep hitting the wrong key there, sorry. Self dot distance is present and self dot duration is present. So this assures everything's here. It looks kind of sloppy already. That's okay. We just want to get this thing to work because in the real world, which you could argue is kind of how this is right now, because I do want to make this application actually work, or I want people to use this app. I'm just kind of concerned about getting it to work first and making it look, refactoring it later. So let's see here. We want to do case self dot unit, and then we want to do end. So, and then when it is, I wonder if it's going to be, I'm trying to think of what's going to come back here. Like if self dot unit is actually going to be miles or if it's going to be 0. You know what we can actually do here? Throw in a buy bug. Let's just see what happens. I don't know what self.unit is going to return as. Alright, so we got, let's just do self.unit. Miles. Okay, so that's good to know. So I can do case, throw an end there, just indent that, and then when it's miles, we want to take self dot distance, multiply it by the duration, right? Actually, we can just do this in line here. So we have that. You'd think I would have a better sense of how to do this. So we want to do, so it's 10 miles. The duration was that, right? Is that what we're doing? And then divided by, no, it wasn't divided by 60. I'm sure you guys are watching this cringing at me right now. So I run 10 miles and it takes me that long. oh, it'd be this number divided by 10. So it's duration divided by distance. All right, so it is, there's no multiplication here. I'm getting ahead of myself. Duration divided by distance, right? So let's get rid of this by, but well, actually let's just do this real quick. Okay. And because it's saving as a decimal, that's where we're getting like this and not 360. But that's all good. So let's get rid of this by bug. Close this out. Let's just run this. So let's see here. Why is that not running? When it's that, let's throw another by bug in here. Oh, doy. It's because we're not actually setting anything. We're not setting the duration, or sorry, the pace, the calculated pace to anything. So where is it here? Calculated pace, we want to do self dot calculated pace equals this. Let's run that. Hopefully this works. Okay, this is good. I'm actually going to go ahead and just commit this real quick. All right, so calculate pace when unit is miles. So we got a good working thing here though. So now we can just do when it is, let's just go through this. So 1 kilometers, when meters, and when yards. So now we just gotta find the right formula here. So we want to, because ultimately everything that's going to be in calculated pace is going to be minutes per mile, we need to get the distance to be converted into miles. So let's just start with kilometers. And let's just do, where is it at? Meter alphabet. Here we go. So this is the magic number. I'm actually just going to comment that out. Meter is this, and yard is that. So these are the numbers that we care about. So the first thing we have to do is actually convert it, right? So I gotta think about this here for a second. Again, if you're like a math person, I'm sure you're cringing at me right now. So 1 kilometer is that, which means it would be, so we want to do converted distance equals self dot distance, I think it'd be times that rate. Let me think about this. So if I ran 1 kilometer, that would be 0.62 miles. Okay, so that makes sense. So converted distance, and then we want to do that. And let's just run through all of these. Now I realize this is not very dry, but that's a-okay with me right now because I'm really just trying to get this solved as quickly as possible. Actually make sure that's right. Meters, yards. Okay. So let's just make sure the test is still working. Nothing should have changed, but so now I got to think about some good test cases to put in here. So let's just do, copy this, and we'll just do, and we'll do kilometers. So kilometers. So let's say I ran 10 kilometers, and let's just say it took me 30 minutes, which 30 times 60 seconds is 1800, which I guess is half of that. I should have known. So let's just kind of do this out here. So it took me, that's 30 minutes. So converted distance, I'm trying to think of like, basically like reversing the test that I'm doing here. So, okay, so what I think I'll do for these tests, which may or may not be that smart, is instead of trying to, because what I'm running into here is I'm trying to think of like a perfect round number and then working backwards from there to make sure it equals it. I think what will work in this case is to almost like just duplicate some of this logic just to make sure there's like no regressions in the future. So I'll do converted distance equals activity distance, so it'll be 10, but now we're going to get that'll be converted into miles, and then we'll do duration. So let's see here. So activity dot duration should be pace equals that. And then let's just see if we put in, because this number is not going to be as clean as 360. Let's just see if that works. So Rails T test. Actually, I can just key up a few times. All right, so that's the working. I'm just gonna copy this a few more times. So distance, let's do, I'm actually trying to think of like real track and field stuff here. So meters, let's do 800 meters, which I know is a half mile. And a good half mile time would be 2 minutes, which is 120 seconds. And we just need to go in here and account for this number. So throw that in there. That should still be the same. Okay, and finally, let's just do yards. So 600 yards. A good 600 yard time is around like 90 seconds. Well, that's a pretty good time. It's probably better than good. So 90 seconds save, and then we just want to go ahead and take this number and throw it on here. Clear that out. Run that. All right, so this is looking good. The only thing, definitely kind of a verbose test, first of all. Duplicates a lot. And this this method here to calculate it, not great. We're kind of duplicating some stuff, but let's save it. Maybe we can get it and we can refactor it in a minute. So let's see here. So calculate. Let's just have the old speller do this for me. Calculate paces for other units or remaining units. All right, so we got this. How can we fix this? Well, what's the simplest way to do this? You know, I might even just leave it like this for now. I think it's okay that it's verbose. I'll just get rid of the comments because they're already in the code right here. We're in a good working state right now. Let's just clear this out. Run the test suite again to make sure nothing broke because of that. Cool. So then we're at a clean state, or actually got to commit those changes. So just say that I removed those comments. So remove comments, and we'll push that up. And now that I think about it, I think we're actually kind of done with the model. I feel pretty good about it right now. Like, we have sort of an MVP of what I want this to do. So we'll go in, let's just merge this into master and call it a day. So master, I'll just say build and test the old activity model. Create that pull request. And these will run in the background. We can squash and merge, and you can see all the commits I made. I'm just gonna tidy these up because I don't like those extra spaces. Oh, and actually, what's kind of cool is we can clean this up a bit. Spelling is not great, which I'm sure you've seen throughout this course. So, build and test activity model, that's there. Cool. Go ahead and do that. And then let's delete this branch. And I think we'll leave it at that.